Good evening. Good evening, everyone. We are back. We are back for the quarantine concert series. We're back. This is show number 36. 36. We've been at it. So just like taxes, you can count on us. Can't get rid of us. We're always here. We're always here. This time with the great Melissa Aldana. But first, I want to tell you about what we're doing. We are putting on this concert series because all the gigs have been canceled. We're going through a nationwide international emergency. All the gigs have been canceled, and that's really severely impacted artists, really anyone who is making a living through live entertainments. I just saw a report earlier today that the live event space, the concert industry, is going to lose almost $9 billion with a B. That's an estimate. So everyone's getting just pummeled with this. Not just the artists, the engineers, producers, bookers, promoters. So there's a whole ecosystem of folks who are impacted by this, what's going on. So if you know someone who's an artist or in this community, reach out to them, give them your love, your support, because we really need to be there for the creative community. Throughout the year, artists share their love and soul and passion with us, and now's the time to turn the spotlight back on them where it belongs. So that's what this concert series is all about, putting the spotlight back on these amazing individuals who give us such joy throughout the year. So that's what we're doing. This concert series is brought to you in partnership with the great folks at All About Jazz, allaboutjazz.com, the most comprehensive jazz resource on earth. Started in 1995 by Michael Ritchie. They simulcast a lot of our concerts. So if you're an artist, create an artist page on there. If you're a patron, make a donation. We need to support these great jazz websites that are helping to promulgate, it's the word of the day, promulgate a lot of this great content. So thank you, All About Jazz, for your partnership in presenting these concerts. All right, where can you find us? The short answer is everywhere. We are on the Facebook. We are on the Twitter. We are on the very, very delicious Instagram cracker. It goes nice with marshmallows. So if you're watching out there, get some marshmallows, have some Instagram crackers. It's good for you. Also on LinkedIn. I know a lot of people have lost their jobs recently. If you're looking for a job on LinkedIn right now and we're interrupting your search, that's okay. Enjoy the music. If you're a vice president, associate vice president, president, CEO, chief marketing officer, it's okay. Please subscribe to all these channels, also YouTube, so you get notified on what's going on these concert series. All right, so that's where you find us. All right, if you want to be a guest on the show, hit me up on Facebook or Instagram. We do have a bit of a waiting list. We have over 60 artists on the waiting list. So thank you for your patience on getting on this series. We've been overwhelmed by the response, also by the viewers. We're averaging now 50 to 60,000 views on some of our episodes, some of our recent episodes. So thank you to our partners at LinkedIn and Facebook for partnering with us on these broadcasts. So that's what's up. We have a new brand, the Quarantine Concert Series, some new graphics. I have a new microphone. Sounds good. And now we get to the fun part of the show where we get to present to you the incredible artist. So this artist is a very talented and accomplished composer, saxophonist. She is a legend in the making, And it's such a delight to be able to chat with her today. Please welcome to the show the great Melissa Aldana. Hola.
Hi. How are you
Hi.
doing?
Good. Where are you broadcasting from today?
From my apartment in Harlem, New York.
All right. So you're there. New York is. I'm obviously in Atlanta from the dining room table of my parents' place, but I hear New York is particularly in a hot spot right now. Tell me, how has the pandemic affected you personally and professionally? Have you had to cancel many gigs? What's the situation been like for you?
Well, most of my performance got canceled basically until September. There's still some things that may be happening in June, which I doubt, but I don't know. I'm hoping. Um, so basically, I'm just out of work for a while, and I have plenty of time I kind of look at it as a sabbatical in a way, just have time to work on my craft and in a much deeper way, and reflect on the things I have done these previous years, and trying to figure out what is next, and I think that, like, even though this is a terrible situation, just having the chance to have so much time for myself, and being alone and have to deal with a lot of personal things I think that we all went through, that is definitely going to help me to figure out more things about my playing.
Totally. I want people to get a sense of some of the gigs that you had lined up so folks can understand the calamity that we're going through. What are some of the places you were going to be playing, let's say this week or next
Yeah.
week, that you won't be playing, for example?
Well, this week I was supposed to be on tour with a band called Artemis. This was my last tour with the band, and it was basically a US tour. I think that we were about to be in San Francisco today, if I'm not mistaken. And before that, I just started like a tour with my one of my latest projects, which involved the last album Visions, but with a visual component. So we were able to do half. I mean, kind of half of the tour, and and everything. Everything started getting canceled after March 15, and then basically after that, I was really looking forward doing a lot of traveling as a band leader. Basically until September, until next year. I was about to go to New Zealand to play the house opera with the with the visuals and my band, and then we were going to Australia. I was going to Japan for the first time. That is one gig that is still happening, but I'm not sure. We will see how things develop. And then like I had an April tour in Europe, and then a July tour in Europe. It's just a bunch of things that got canceled. So
Are things getting rebooked, or is it just wait and see right now?
some things are getting rebooked. Luckily, I have Romy Thompson, my manager, so she's been on top of it. But like it doesn't really depend on us what is going to happen. We're hoping to be back in September, but it's not. We can control what will happen, so we will see. But I most of the things are getting rebooked either for September later on, or 2021.
Gotcha. Tell me about this band Artemis. Is that your band, or what is the name of your band that you tour with?
No, Artemis is a sideman thing that I've been doing these past 3 years. That involves Renee Rosnes is the band leader, the director of the band, and then is Ingrid Jensen on the trumpet, Cecile McLaurin Salvant, uh, who wasn't about to join the band for the rest of the year, but she did in the beginning, and then Anat Cohen, Noriko Ueda on bass, and Anison Miller on drums. But that basically started like 3 years ago, and we did a tour in Europe in Philharmonic places, which was pretty amazing in Paris and Luxembourg, and then developed as a collective band. We recently recorded an album for Blue Note, which is gonna be released in September, I think. Like I have taken the decision that I wanted to fully commit to my own band. So this was basically like the last long tour that I was about to do with them, and like another a great saxophone player is gonna join the band. Her name is Nicole Glover. She's a little bit younger. So yeah, and my band is called Melissa Aldana Quartet. It's basically with Sam Harris on the piano, Kush Avadi on the drums, and Pablo Menares, and that is what I was planning to record in September, also including Lagalon on the guitar.
Got it. Got it. On the Artemis project, is there a name for the album yet? Have they announced it yet? Don't
I
know.
don't know.
Okay.
I don't know about it yet. Yeah.
Cool. Cool. Tell me, what would you like to begin your performance with today?
I'm gonna play. Well, I've been working a lot on ballads, and so I'm gonna start with a tune called Bewitch. Thank you.
Awesome. Sounds so good.
Thank you.
I promise it's more than just me clapping. There's
Thank you so
people
much.
all over the world, people tuning in from Vietnam, and also beautiful. Thank you.
Beautiful.
So you're getting a lot of
Thank you
love
for.
in all quarters. I have a
Thank.
few questions coming in, so I'm just going to sort of start firing them at you that are coming in. A couple of people want to know what kind
Yeah.
of saxophone are you playing right now?
I'm playing Balance 45. Um, I just got it from this. He's a legendary repairman in Boston who I met when I was 15. His name is Emilio Lyon. Actually, the story is that when I went to Boston for the first time to apply to do the audition for Berkeley, I I was completely broke and my saxophone stopped working right the day of the audition. And I knew about Emilio because he's legendary. I mean, he worked with Sonny Rollins, Stan Getz, with all the legends. So I went there and I said, can you just see if anything that you can do to fix it a little bit so it will work for my audition, and then I go back to Chile. And I hardly spoke English back then. And he's like, yeah, just play something for me. And he heard me playing, and he fixed my saxophone for free and left it perfect. And I was very thankful back then. And so when I come back to Berkeley in 2007, uh, I went to visit him, and he remembered me from back then, and we were very close. I mean, to this day, he's family to me. He's basically like a second father. So he knew that I was looking recently for a new saxophone. I mean, a couple of years ago, for a balance, because I just wanted to try to play something a little bit different. So a couple months ago, he called me and he's like, I have two balance, and one of those is yours. So just come to Boston and play it, and you choose. And I went there with another close friend of mine. His name is Gavin Lewis. He was the second place at the Thelonious Smoke, and actually we took. I don't know how to drive, so we just took the Chinatown bus at 6 in the morning. Drove 6 hours, went to Emilio, and I tried the horn, and it was just I fell in love with it, and this is basically what I've been playing since then.
That was it, huh? Do you still know how to
Yeah.
not know how to drive, or have you learned since then?
I'm embarrassed. I never learned because I moved when I was 18.
Yeah,
And in Chile I used to live close to downtown, and my high school was right there. So it's not really part of the culture that
sure.
parents teach. I mean, at least not part of the culture in my family.
Yeah, you drive the
Um,
band, just not on the road, right?
yeah.
Um,
I mean, it's definitely something I want to learn, but it's just getting hard,
yeah, yeah.
harder and harder as I get older.
Here's some technical questions. Do you use coded reeds?
What is coded reeds means?
Coded reeds, they make your sound bolder. How do you like your reeds that are coded? See the question on the screen?
Oh, okay, I understand. You know, I'm using plastic cover reeds. And this is crazy because I never thought I will get to this point. But I'm home, and I usually use Hemke. I'm endorsed by Daddario. I've been playing Daddario since I was a kid. But something is going on with the reeds, and I wasn't able to find a good one. And then at some point I was like, anyway, I'm practicing all day. I should get ready. I mean, I should get used to play with reeds that I don't feel as comfortable. Maybe that would be a good thing to stop being spoiled. So I start playing these reeds, and they last for days, and
Yeah,
they do the job.
sounds good. I want to ask you about your next album, your last album, Visions, but maybe we can do it after your next song. And by the way, speaking about your next album, I know it's on Motema Records. Jana Herzen is watching, and she says, "Sounding good, Melissa." Charna said you made our living
Thank you,
room sound
Jana.
like the Vanguard. So big shout out to
Oh,
Jana, who's tuning
thank you,
in.
Jana.
So what would you like to play next?
So I'm gonna play another ballad, one of my favorites, and this is called "I Love You, Porgy." Thank you. Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Let me know when it gets uncomfortably long. They're good. Watch this. Ready? And see.
Thank you. That was great.
Very well trained. Be so beautiful. What a wonderful rendition, Donna Scott. Your
Thank you.
interpretation captures the tension that Porgy and Bess felt, and it's so melancholy. Just people are commenting on your wonderful rendition. Melissa, tell me
Gracias.
about your last album, Visions. What was the reason you wanted to put that together, and how did you put it together?
Um, Actually, the idea first started with a commission that was granted by the Jazz Gallery. um, uh, and the commission consisted basically that I was able to write, whatever I wanted, and I had many months to just like kind of think about it and then write music and then perform it. So it kind of happened like in an interesting time, and I think that has to do with age and the time I've been playing, like this search for self identity, which kind of keeps getting deeper as you grow older, and especially now in this quarantine. Um, but I think that vision is kind of like the first one of the first steps towards that. So I recorded a lot of trio, and I was hearing piano and harmony for a while. So when I had to do the commission, I thought, why not include more instruments, and all those colors that I was anyway hearing when I was playing quartet, trio for so many years. And I wanted to find some source of inspiration, and I always been very drawn by other artists' process of self-identity through art. And when I was a kid, I was always amazed by the work of Frida Kahlo. Also to name some other painters from South America, Osvaldo Guayasamín from Ecuador, and I used to kind of like do the same thing, just transcribe the paintings, and I have oils at home, and I used to paint. I wasn't a painter, but I was really into it, and so the idea of Frida Kahlo came to my mind, and like I was always wondering. I think that like the way that I think about improvisation, or at least what I'm aiming, hopefully at what point in my life, is to be able to paint. So not really being connected to, not being really being conscious. I'm conscious of what is happening harmonically and everything, but just being able to see all that from above, and just paint and express myself, which I think that I see the similarities with visual art. So anyway, I wrote the piece, and each one of the movements represents some kind of like personal things, and also some of them are related to Frida as a character, or the love affair, and 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 this process of self self acceptance, and how to find that through art. So the the commission is basically talks about that. Like it doesn't really talk about Frida's work, or she as a female artist, or anything. It talks about my inspiration, my intake on her own process of self identity.
Gotcha, gotcha.
And that's how the album was born after that.
And that's a Frida Kahlo painting on the cover.
No, Cecile McLaurin Salvan did the,
Oh, right,
the
right,
art
right.
cover.
She's a great.
But it's kind of yeah, she's a dear friend of mine,
She's a
and
great
yeah,
artist,
when
visual artist.
she's beautiful visual artist. I love her all the way in everything that she does. So when I did the cover, I was like, I don't want to have my picture in any other covers. So I asked her to do the drawing, and actually she did it when she was on her way to win her Grammy back in January. And it's inspired on the two Fridas, like the painting where it's like two Fridas connected by a heart and veins. So basically, it's two Fridas there, but one has a saxophone.
Got it, got it. Um, Tell me about, where did you record it, and what was the process like putting it together?
Yeah, I recorded at Samurai Hotel
Yep.
studio, which is an amazing studio run by Dave Stoller and
In
I
Queens,
can't
right?
remember the name of the other person. Yeah, and so I basically went to the studio. I basically recorded everything in one day, but we still use the second day, and I got the chance to play the music quite a lot before, and that's usually when how I record my albums. I kind of go backwards. Like an album is kind of like the conclusion of a period
Mm-hmm.
of like just trying to figure out what I want to say, and then once I feel like I'm ready, I record and then move to the next thing.
Were you happy with how it was received after you were like out in the world, and the critical response and the feedback you're getting from fans?
Yeah, of course, that is always very, it's very it's very beautiful to see how you get recognition for something that you do, and it's something that means something to me. It's I grew up playing music, and I try to do my best to to record a good representation of where I was at the moment. So I'm very proud of what it is. That doesn't mean that I like the album, but I'm very proud because I feel like I did my best
You,
at the
I'm
moment.
sure you like the album. You don't like the album?
I mean, like it just feels old. I think that is like something normal for every artist. Like I'm like I'm not there anymore. So what is
Yeah,
next? But not in a negative way. Like I'm proud because I work on it, and I meant it. I really meant it when I record.
totally. It was a stage. It was sort of like this moment for you, and it's out, and there's only one
Yeah.
self, and that's the present self, right? So, um, how
Yeah.
was how
Exactly.
was it working with? I have to ask. You worked with Jana Motema. I've worked on her on several releases. How was working with Motema and that experience for you?
Motema was amazing, and I always going to be thankful to Jana, and Robin Tompkins also was part of that, and some other people. Like I think that they just support me so much, and they let me put the album exactly the way I wanted, the way that was my vision. Like I wanted to have Cecile doing the art cover, and and I was just so thankful that they never got in the middle. They were like, do whatever you want, we support you, and we're right there with you, and that really means a lot.
Yeah, that's been my experience. She's been such a fan and advocate of the artist that she works with. She's really a leading light in the community, and so wonderful to see that you both are working together. It's a dynamic duo. You being
Yeah.
released by Motema. Everyone watching at home, check out melissaaldana.net. You see it scrolling at the bottom, and subscribe to her on Spotify, stream her music on iTunes as well. You can also go to motema.com and check out the music. So I strongly suggest you following Melissa online on Instagram. There's all of her social media. Oh, nice. We have a whole graphic there. We have a little SoundCloud, Twitter. I mean, everything. Just type in Melissa Aldana into Google and surf the net and subscribe. So, what would you like to play next, Melissa?
I'm gonna play another ballad.
Okay,
This is called Spring. Spring can really hang you up the most.
great.
Thank you.
Applause, por favor. Applause, por favor.
Thank you.
I'm trying to make up for all those gigs.
I feel it. Also.
Awesome. Sounds so great. What a beautiful, another beautiful rendition. A lot of love.
Thank you.
I'll put some up on the screen here. Got Donna Scott giving some applause. So we even have Robin Thompson weighing in, talking about your killer version of a Little Nas Old Town Road that you did.
Hey, Robin.
Yeah. I'm not sure that's going to make it on this show, but you're welcome to play it if you want. The Talk to me about Chile, because I don't hear about too many. This is probably my own ignorance about too many jazz musicians in Chile. Maybe I just don't know what the scene down there. Is it a robust jazz scene? How would you assess the state of the music in Chile?
Well, it's definitely growing. You know, like I haven't lived in Chile like for 12 years, so I'm not as aware of like all the younger musicians that are there. But I know there's people coming up. You know, there has been a couple of young musicians that moved to New York who I'm not very familiar with, unfortunately. But there is a beautiful scene of Chilean musicians in New York, you know, starting by the great Camila Mesa, who is one of my dear friends, a beautiful singer, guitar player all the way, and I know her since Chile. My best player, Pablo Benares. He's from Chile too, and so like this definitely strong musicians from Chile, and there's a rich tradition. And even though maybe it's I mean like I feel like after living in New York we're just spoiled. Like it's you can't compare anything to living here, but there is a scene, there is jazz festivals, and it's definitely growing and growing. And I think that is a big part of the fact that there's a lot of musicians going there, and it's master classes, and there's things going on, which wasn't the case when I was growing up. Definitely makes a different impact on it makes an impact on younger musicians. And also just seeing that there's Chilean musicians living in New York, because I remember that growing up I just knew about Cla Cunha, and the whole idea of moving to New York was something so, it seems impossible to do it. So I think that the fact that it's more of us here, that definitely is inspire younger musicians, and the scene is elevating.
Is it true that your parents were musicians, right? Or your dad was?
Yeah, my father is a saxophone player, and my grandfather was a saxophone player too, both tenor players.
So yeah, so it's in the DNA. So don't even try to play like this. A question on Instagram. I thought I would ask you: did you ever feel any pressure that you had to be a musician?
No, it was always very natural, but my sister did, and she hates the saxophone now. So, but somehow I was always in love with the process. Like I don't, my father was like extremely strict. Like made me wake up early before class and like transcribe, blah, 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 like 8 hours a day. But I do not have bad memories from it. If anything, I'm thankful that I was taught about discipline, and and the love for the process since a very early age. So I think that when I went to Berkeley, I didn't necessarily learn how to play the saxophone, but rather I just gained experience being around like people that actually were like doing this for a living. Because my father is just mainly a teacher. And I was able to really like gain a lot from going to Berkeley, just because of the kind of background that I have when it comes to studying music, or just approach to life in that sense.
Yeah, totally. And what does your sister play? Does she become a musician too?
No, she hates the saxophone.
Yeah.
But actually, my like, well, she's a chef.
Cool. Culinary arts.
And culinary, exactly. And she has a little baby. His name is Maximo. It's the most beautiful thing that happened to me in life. And he's 1 year and a half. And actually, if the people that is on Instagram, you go to those stories that stay posted for a while.
Yeah.
There's one that is called Maximo, and he's 1 year and a half, and he's so talented. Like you guys will see. You have to go and see the video. Like he's just like gets the sticks and start playing drums, and has an amazing kind of coordination for a 1 year and a half old kid. And like this quarantine, I've been calling her in the morning, and then I hear like him playing the drums. So I think that he's the next musician on the family.
Could be runs in the family.
Yeah.
Cool. What would you like to play next?
I'm gonna play I Should Care. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah. Well, Melissa, thank you so much for being on the show today. We really appreciate it. What a pleasure to have you.
Thank you.
And wish you all the
Thank you
best
so much.
for what's ahead. For everyone watching, please check out her website and Visions, her recent album. You can find it on all streaming platforms. MelissaAldana.net. You see it down there. And please reach out to her. And all you people who are booking talent, let's get her rebooked as fast as possible and get back to our normally scheduled lives. All right, one more thing. I wanted to thank our sound and tech team who are with us every night, every day. They are the great Sandra and Camilo. We put their website up on the
Thank you.
screen, soundworksrecording.com. Great mixing and mastering services. If you're an artist, you need any kind of audio services, check them out. If you ask for the special discount named after their dogs, Maui and Oreo, you get a special discount. And the sky is the limit with them, really. So just really nice, polite, kind, gentle people. All right, and that's pretty much it. Just tomorrow we have the great Jessica Medina and Maddie Poppy, who won American Idol, is this week. And coming up also is some great artists like Jane Bunnett and Regina Carter. So some great people joining us. We're here every night at 10 p.m. Eastern. And good night, God bless, and good health. Bye.
Bye. Thank you so much for having me, and thank you for tuning in.
My pleasure.